We are now 27 days away from the 2024 presidential election between Trump and Kamala Harris. In the last few days, caterwauling Kamala has plucked up the courage to face some interviews. Meanwhile, Elon Musk took the stage with Trump for the first time in Butler, Pennsylvania, scene of the first Trump assassination attempt, before sitting down later with Tucker Carlson for an interview. The interview was fascinating. Have the Dems developed MUSK Derangement Syndrome, a variation of TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome? Do they fear Musk more than Trump? Well, one thing is for sure, they hate him. Is that why Musk may be fearing a legal prosecution if Kamala Harris wins?
They'll try to prosecute the company, prosecute me.
In this video, we'll explain why they hate him so much. I'll take a deeper look at the symptoms and causes of MUSK Derangement Syndrome and the 7 untold reasons why they hate him. But before all of that, if you want to support the show, press subscribe. If you do that, I can have more phenomenal guests and explore the topics that you want to hear about. Now, given the attention-grabbing appearance of Musk in Butler, you may not have noticed, but Kamala has been on what NPR is calling a media blitz. Kamala sat down with CBS's Bill Whitaker. It was a revealing interview, where for the first time we saw fair questions being leveled at Kamala Harris. Here are some highlights.
You have changed your position on so many things, so many that people don't truly know what you believe or what you stand for. Was it a mistake to loosen the immigration policies as much as you did? Democracy best served by President Biden stepping down and basically handing you a nomination. You didn't have to go through a primary process. You didn't have to fight off other contenders. That's not really the way our system was intended to work.
I like those earrings.
You have changed your position on so many things.
Does that sound familiar?
Additionally, Kamala made an appearance on the Democrat loyalist, vaccine-loving Stephen Colbert show.
What is it that is, to coin a phrase, great about America and that kindles your love for it?
There's so much. There's so much. And you're right. And I have the blessing and privilege of traveling all over our country. And in particular...
Okay, enough. I won't make you suffer any more of that vacuous twaddle. Vaccine! She also made an appearance on Call Her Daddy, one of the biggest podcasts in America and most watched by women. Well, that was received badly as well. Colin Rugg tweeted this: Kamala Harris's appearance on Call Her Daddy turns into a massive flop as the YouTube segment barely received 100,000 views in the first 16 hours, with mostly negative reactions. At the time of this post, the segment on YouTube has 4.9 thousand likes and 11,000 dislikes, meaning it has a 31% favorability rating. The comments were almost entirely negative. It seems Kamala is completely helpless without a script or teleprompter.
Today we got 32 days until the election. So 32 days. 32 days. Okay, we got some business to do. All right. 32 days. And we know we will do it.
Maybe Musk was right when he said,
Kamala, she's simply the face of a much larger machine.
Yes.
And she will say whatever the teleprompter, whatever's on the teleprompter, she's going to say it.
Yes.
Now, she gets stuck if the teleprompter breaks.
It's hard to know what to make of Kamala Harris, but Michael Malice's analysis seems to be pretty accurate.
Right. If you're going after Officer Harris, you're either racist or sexist or ableist.
Right.
So they will use...
Ableist.
Yeah, because she's a retard. She's literally retarded. I mean...
So Kamala Harris's attempted media blitz has failed. But here's what she was trying to counter. On October 5th, we saw Donald Trump joined by Elon Musk in Butler, Pennsylvania, where the first assassination attempt was carried out on Trump 3 months ago. Here are some highlights.
His name is Elon Musk. He saved free speech.
I think this election, I think it's the most important election of our lifetime. President Trump must win to preserve the Constitution. He must win to preserve democracy in America. Register to vote. Like, text people now. Now. Oh, and then make sure they actually do vote. If they don't, this will be the last election. That's my prediction. Nothing's more important. Nothing's more important.
Perhaps most iconic was Musk's bizarre stage entrance.
Where is he? Come on up here, Elon. That's into space. Come here. Take over, Elon. Just take over.
Which the Babylon Bee jumped on. Democrats cruelly make fun of autistic African-American jumping for joy. Musk then went to speak with Tucker Carlson.
I mean, there may be some, in the hopefully unlikely event that he loses, there may be some vengeance on me.
I think Musk might be right here. Just look how lawfare has been used against Trump. And this brings us to MUSK Derangement Syndrome, the latest variant of TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. The Musk variety of the affliction shares similar etiology, but there are some differing explanations. But first of all, what is MDS? Here is former MSNBC anchor and Democrat influencer Keith Olbermann demonstrating a particularly vicious case of the condition.
Time to cancel all the contracts and reassess his immigration status and hopefully deport him the hell out of the country.
Former United States Secretary of Labor Robert Reich wrote this in The Guardian: 6 ways to stop Musk. Boycott Tesla. Advertisers should boycott X. Regulators to threaten Musk with arrest. Will Stansel, a Democrat candidate for Congress, thinks a power-hungry Musk wants to be a de facto president. Mark Cuban, the Democrat billionaire, calls Musk an immigration troll.
I think Elon Musk comes across online as an immigration troll.
Cuban, whose long-standing public feuding with Musk sees no end, may have an agenda. Here he is saying he himself wants a role in the Kamala administration.
Could I ask you, Mark, whether you would entertain being a Treasury Secretary, Commerce Secretary in a Harris administration?
Head of the SEC. Head of the SEC. That's the job I would take. Maybe HHS.
Is it beyond the imagination of Cuban that Musk may have the same concerns as ordinary Americans? Perhaps Cuban is projecting. Perhaps he himself isn't able to relate to the concerns of ordinary people. Now here's some mainstream media MUSK Derangement Syndrome.
There's a very real idea behind the idea of dark MAGA. So when you hear someone like Elon Musk say he's entirely on board, even with the more authoritarian impulses of Trump, that says something. That says that he's been radicalized over the years.
And I will say that Elon Musk is perhaps the world's leading spreader of disinformation, including outright lies.
As we can see, mainstream media are doubling down on their same old talking points as we get closer to the election. Ground News shows us that bias. Even with the Trump-Musk appearance in Butler, Pennsylvania, we can see a clear media disparity, with 44% of left-leaning outlets covering it. Some of those outlets calling Musk's speech the cringiest moment in U.S. political history. By comparison, only 27% of right-leaning outlets covered it. Yet again, a huge media bias. Here's more about Ground News. We specifically asked them to partner with us because their app and website has allowed me and my team to quickly see through the media bias on any story in the news cycle. Hundreds of articles were published on the debate worldwide, and we can access every single one on Ground News with context on each source. Now, right-leaning New York Post wrote this headline: Tim Walz repeatedly made false claims he was in Hong Kong during Tiananmen Square massacre. A starkly different narrative to the previous reading from the left-leaning Raw story. Seeing all sides, regardless of political lean, is important in making informed decisions and having more productive cross-aisle conversations, especially coming up to the election in November. Which is why I appreciate that you can follow not only breaking news on each candidate and key issues, but also blind spot stories that are disproportionately covered. I believe in what Ground News is doing, and I encourage you to check it out by scanning the QR code or go to ground.news/Winston. If you subscribe through my link, you'll save 40% off unlimited access. Ground News is subscriber funded, and by supporting my sponsors, you're supporting this show. Now back to MUSK Derangement Syndrome. It is real. And here are 7 reasons why they hate him. Reason 1. Like Trump, Elon Musk is a class traitor. He is, of course, the world's wealthiest man, has enjoyed a life hobnobbing with Hollywood and pop stars and the liberal coastal elites. He has been unfathomably prolific, launching the most successful electric vehicle company in America, Tesla, for which he could easily have become a green environmentalist's hero. He's been on the avant-garde of the usually Democrat Silicon Valley, co-founding PayPal, OpenAI, Neuralink, Starlink, to name but a few of his billion-dollar businesses. He's an immigrant and from elite society. Nobody likes a traitor. Like Trump's rise to political popularity in 2016, being a class traitor implies that the subject, in this case Elon, knows exactly how the elites think and what motivates them, and yet utterly rejects it, instead championing the causes of the working classes. Not only that, Elon also said this to Tucker.
You know, I think part of why Kamala is getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Yes.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah. Do you think Reid Hoffman's uncomfortable?
Yes. And Gates.
And Gates.
Yeah.
Does Elon know something we don't? Reason 2. Musk is directly obstructing one of the Democrats' main tactics of taking down Trump, that of toxifying the Trump brand. They have tried this endlessly with Trump, trying to portray him as a literal Nazi and Hitler-like.
In your view, would happen if he were to be reelected?
Oh, I can't even think that, because I think it would be the end of our country as we know it. And then they would try to do away with elections and do away with opposition and do away with a free press. And you could see it in countries where, well, Hitler was duly elected.
That's right. That's all I want to know. Who I got to vote for to keep Hitler out the White House.
So Musk, whose long-time public life and wild popularity, largely because of the inspirational SpaceX, sharing that good public standing with Trump, even risking it for Trump, gives credence to the notion that all the far-right labeling and hysteria is a nonsense. Reason 3. Trump will appoint Musk head of a government efficiency force. If so, he will clear out many of the over 19 million government employees, or more specifically, the nearly 3 million working for the federal government. He will clear out American bureaucracy just as he cleared out Twitter, where he sacked 80% of staff after his 2022 takeover. Dems believe in state power to solve problems. It is the socialist mindset. Entrepreneurs and conservatives have the opposite belief, which is that the power for real change lies with individuals, not in corporations or the state. Reason 4. Musk has broken the blue monopoly on tech and social media. The blues have Google, YouTube, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, and have manipulated voters just as we saw with the first Trump assassination, being ghosted off Google searches. Twitter, now X, has become a truly free speech platform. The Hunter Biden laptop story being suppressed before the 2020 election is a perfect example of how tech control can manipulate election results. The Democrats aren't even hiding this concern anymore. Here is Hillary Clinton recently.
But if the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm.
Notice they have no issue with Soros buying 200 radio stations. Why might that be? This may be why Elon thinks they'll try and shut it down or arrest Elon himself, as they did Pavel Durov in France.
If she wins, I mean, how can they let X continue in its current form, in its current role in American society?
They won't. They will try to shut it down by any means possible.
What do you mean by any means possible?
I mean, with either via, they'll try to pass laws. They'll try to prosecute the company, prosecute me.
This leads to the 5th important reason for MUSK Derangement Syndrome. He's broken their monopoly on narrative. Free speech was given new life by Musk's Twitter takeover. That seems to have meant a huge increase in racism and hate speech, which I myself am a regular recipient of. But is that a price worth paying for? After all, until Musk took over, we had the quote-unquote curated, read censored version, and it meant the suppression of truth. Take COVID, for example, where government censorship may have cost American lives. Stanford epidemiologist Jay Bhattacharya, at least, believes so. Reason 6. He fiercely attacks the woke mind virus, particularly progressive trans ideology. Who could forget his moving interview with Dr. Jordan Peterson?
It wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway, and so I lost my son, essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
all right, so the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
Not only that, be it trans ideology or voter ID fraud, he is exposing to his enormous following of 200 million people on X alone various progressive lies and deceits. But crucially, the 7th reason for MUSK Derangement Syndrome. Musk is a long-term threat to the Democratic establishment. Trump is in his late 70s, has already said he won't run again if he loses this election. Musk, only 53 years old, will likely have a long life ahead and presumably continue to expose and challenge the blue establishment. And that is why MUSK Derangement Syndrome is here to stay. This Trump-Elon appearance in Butler has seen a monumental shift in the predicted outcome of the election, with Polymarket dramatically changing the chance of Trump winning. Currently, Trump is on 52.8% and Kamala is at 46.7%. What happens to Musk is yet to be seen. Whether the Democrat establishment tried to take him down is not entirely clear. But what it is for certain is that this is only the beginning of MUSK Derangement Syndrome. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see more now, watch this video here and subscribe to see more topics and more guests that you care about. It helps our show more than you know. And we are heading to the US for the election, so comment who you want to see on the show. That's all from me. Until next time, be well.